Welcome to MISSPELT Manga Academy. Well, not actually, I'm not licensed to teach you anything. But when you think about manga, it's usually some fantasy adventure or school life rom-com. But beyond the mindless fighting and the sugar-sweet halftime family shows, there might be a sliver of knowledge you can gain off these black and white comics. Today, I want to talk about a few mangas that I enjoy reading because of the topics they can put into picture. Think of this as when you end up in a rabbit hole through the internet about a topic you never cared about, only to find out you wasted a couple of hours of your life and now you're a genius and brag about it to your friends. Like how I ended up on cow hoof cleaning videos at one point. Did I read over 100 mangas for this video? Maybe. Did I read over 100 summaries for this video? Most definitely. So please comment and subscribe to let me know you enjoyed the lesson and we'll return for the next class. You will return, right? Right? In a way, I'm talking about how this can be educational. So take out your mangas and pencils and let's begin. Alright folks, welcome to your first class. Today I'll be teaching you about fashion. Consider this like a home ec course. It'll be helpful for any upcoming non-existent maid cafe your make-believe class will vote on for the school festival. Now, most manga that label themselves as fashion barely have anything to do with it and just present some pretty clothes or are about modeling. Most of the ones labeled as cosplay are even further from the truth. Starting off with something recent that everyone has enjoyed. My dress-up darling. I know, I said most of the cosplay mangas really don't got much on fashion, but this one actually does. Most of the story is centered around the cosplay shenanigans of Marin, Gojo, and their various buddies along the way. But there are a few instances where they discuss the construction of the costumes. As it turns out, Marin sucks at sewing, while Gojo's got zero experience with cosplay, but he does know some sewing and painting thanks to his love for Hina dolls. In a way, we get to learn with the characters as various tips and tricks are included with simple illustrations and proper instructions. There's also a surprising number of fashion manga about men's clothes. In fact, they do a better job at providing styling tips compared to the drastic amount of female fashion mangas out there, which are mainly pretty drawings on a skinny girl. Take for example, these two that can help level up your appearance from the cut of your clothes to versatile accessories. But beyond how to dress nice, there are ones about dressing how you feel. Vintage fashion, bold aesthetic, extravagant, Lolita, traditional, wear what makes you happy. We can see this from Boys Run the Riot, that looks at gender dysphoria and gender conformity, with uniforms and silhouettes. It presents a transgender fashion story that balances both plot elements quite equally. I wish it was a little longer so we could explore the other characters, but that would take away from the main plot, which was about starting a clothing brand. Compared to other fashion mangas, it doesn't try to show beautiful illustrations, rather a powerful message in a wearable form. And clothing doesn't have to be this avant-garde detailed creation. Something as simple as their logo prints are very appealing, and I like the idea of hidden designs. As for actual fashion designing, they all say the main character is a fashion designer, but we don't really see much beyond simple hand sewing and ironing with a hot pan. There are some that cover specific aspects of fashion designing, like pattern making or historical pieces. For my OI degenerates out there, Empress Asiya shows the use of sewing patterns too, and stealing the idea of the zipper. And now presenting. Smile Down the Runway, as the fashion manga when it comes to covering the whole process. I haven't gotten around to finishing the whole thing yet, but just off the first 2 volumes they cover a few terms like blind stitch and bias cut. At the end of the day, this manga covers the industry of fashion and modeling, specifically high-end and runway couture, hence the name. I will say, compared to the countless other mangas I've found, this provides the most in terms of creativity that isn't too Balenciaga, but more than Uniqlo. I guess if you do intend to venture into this industry, Smile Down the Runway is an inside look at the reality of many industries. Experience, credentials, and even your physical appearance at times. But nothing is impossible if you don't try again. Never give up on your dreams so you can look back and smile down the line. When I'm stuck on a problem, a quick Google search led me to Amazon's bestseller list for educational manga. Although most of them weren't the type of education I had in mind, the few that caught my eye were these. All of these. If studying is hard, why not mash your favorite pastime into it to help you better understand? If you're a visual learner like me, you might have picked up something similar to this when you were a kid during summer or holiday break, or maybe your parents got one for you. So I can relate. Need help with linear algebra? I got you. Calculus? No problem. Regression analysis and statistics? Don't worry, we got that too. They even have other subjects, mainly sciences, but also stuff like microprocessors and cryptography. The more you know, huh? Now, as for actual mangas, there's Sugaku Joshi that details the author's experience studying mathematics in university. And Sugaku Girls that is simple enough as long as you remember BEDMAS, or PEMDAS, or whatever acronym you go by. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but both these series translate to Mathematic Girls, except this one got to coin the name first despite both of them being translated by the same company. There's also these ones that use math to solve mysteries. I know at this point you're tuned out of all this math, which, understandable, you can skip this class. Have a good day. But when you think of math, what pops into your head is usually numbers and calculations. But for mystery solving, it's more like probability, statistics, and game theory. How far did they escape? Is all of this fake? Will they tell the truth? Things like that. Some of you true crime mystery lovers also love your ciphers and codes. It's the same thing, but using 1 + 1 to connect the dots. Like the first game in Alice in Borderland, or the marbles in Squid Game, or chess. There were other ones I found, but they didn't really teach it, and were too complex for most people if you stopped studying math after high school. Or it was about a guy that got horny off of solving math equations. And anyways, that's the end of this class. Go change into your sweats and let's warm up at the gym. First off, a slight problem. I don't read sports manga. I've never been interested to check any of them out, so I have no idea if they actually provide information about the sport. Luckily, there appears to be a list out there, so I'm just going to read them off so you can see for yourself.
Various sports: judo, auto racing, baseball, boxing, volleyball, professional wrestling, association football, karate, baseball, tennis, golf, American football, auto racing, volleyball, boxing, American football, baseball, professional wrestling, basketball, association football, kendo, baseball and gymnastics, boxing, volleyball, rhythmic gymnastics, mahjong, swimming, softball, judo, billiards, boxing, swimming, basketball, boxing, highway racing, martial arts, ice hockey, baseball, kendo, basketball, martial arts, gymnastics, basketball, horse racing, baseball, horse racing, motorball, golf, basketball, street racing, track and field, motorcycle racing, hydroplane racing, table tennis, basketball, competitive yo-yo, baseball, association football, volleyball, basketball, bow, tennis, wheelchair basketball, long jump, inline skating, American football, ice hockey, volleyball, figure skating, motorsports, kendo, baseball, shogi, high jump, kart racing, swimming, cycling, volleyball, figure skating, shogi, baseball, cheerleading, running, mahjong, association football, tennis, competitive karate, diving, association football, shogi, ski jumping, scuba diving, badminton, association football, basketball, cycling, soccer, baseball, football, prism dance skate, airsoft, naginata, cheerleading, prism show, ice hockey, ballroom dancing, rugby union, cross baseball, lacrosse, volleyball, prism show, association football, swimming, badminton, prism show, sumo, soccer, basketball, kabaddi, beach volley, prism show, 10-meter air rifle, shogi, cheerleading, soccer, weightlifting, table tennis, baseball, judo, figure skating, climbing, horse racing, soccer, mahjong, boxing, rugby union, tennis, jet race, gymnastics, surfing, rhythmic gymnastics, water polo, longboard, ice skating, golf.
And that's the end of the list. I'm sure one of these were at least informative on the sport they were showcasing, so if sports are your thing, tell me if any of these are any good. I wasn't really sure what to do for geography, but I doubt there's a manga out there about oceans, lands, and climate. I couldn't even find anything on volcanoes. So, I settled for tourism. Here I thought it'd be easy to find a story on Japan, but instead I found Our Not So Lonely Planet Travel Guide, which covers everywhere but Japan. Unlike a traditional travel guide, there is some semblance of a story, as we follow Asahi and Mitsuki traveling to different countries each chapter. Along with showcasing tourist attractions, the author includes cultural and historical ties on a few of the establishments, be it from a regretful time or from a religious view. And let's not forget all the food they get to eat. If there's anything I caught these past 3 years, it's the travel bug. I do want to point out that various stereotypes and common issues that travelers may encounter have been included. This might put certain countries in a bad light as one of the problems with the manga, but the author never ends any of these trips on a sad or regretful note. Our Not So Lonely Planet Travel Guide is also an LGBTQ story, as our main characters are a couple. Throughout their adventures, they meet various locals and familiar faces that build their confidence in continuing the relationship. Especially for Asahi, knowing that most of society and his family don't seem too keen on accepting these preferences. These trips not only introduce countries and history, but also a world of people just like them and you. So maybe this planet we live on is not so lonely after all. Moving forward, after a never-ending journey across multiple websites to find anything that's actually about geography, I finally stumbled upon this, which I'm not going to read out loud because it's far too long and I'll definitely butcher it. Now this is what I mean by geography and travel. Now, just based off of the chapter preview, it's exactly what I wanted, and it actually fits the subject. It seems to mention how the landscape affects the agriculture, climate, and regional cuisine. So please get this translated. But if these types of series that come off more educational than chillaxing, there's always cute girls doing cute things in every genre out there, like Tokyo Girls visiting castle ruins in Tokyo, or Eurocamp, where they visit different mountains near Tokyo and introduce a few camping tips, or Eurocamp, but RV life, or Eurocamp, but biking across Japan because she has terrible motion sickness in a car, or Eurocamp, but she's an assassin that uses local cuisine and landmarks as her weapon. Like these clams that are largely sourced from Matsue City. Cute girls doing cute things, am I right? I also want to highlight some newer series that, while haven't been translated, offer something different. Tatsutabi, That's Journey, is about a manga artist struggling to get her work popular, so instead she does travel roulette on Twitter. Your vote begins the journey. The fun thing about this is that the Twitter poll actually exists, so you can vote on the next destination for the author to explore in future chapters. Funso Deshitara Hatamare focuses more on politics, so it's a geopolitical manga, but I put it here because the chapters talk about serious subjects and even real issues, such as the situation in Ukraine, so it's awesome that they are able to bring attention to important global problems through this medium. Well then class, now seems like a perfect time to take a break, eat some snacks, and I might join you guys back in a bit.